I'm sorry I didn't review this one earlier. I had a busy week and I actually saw this film before it came out, several days before it came out, and I just never did my reaction because I wanted to make sure my thoughts were articulate enough. Anyways, after that 16-second ramble, Nobody 2 isn't that good. I was very disappointed with this sequel. I really loved the first film. I loved how gritty and violent it was, and the action in this film does not measure up to the bus sequence from the first film. Not even close. As a matter of fact, the action in this film seems kind of like rushed and generic. Like, it's just as good as the action from that Valentine's Day movie with Hee Kwan, or whatever his name is. Anyways, oh god, now everyone's gonna call me a racist because I don't remember the guy's exact name. You know, the guy who won the Oscar for Everything Everywhere All at Once. With this film, it has a very generic plot. It felt kind of like a mixture between National Lampoon's Vacation and Beverly Hills Cop 3, where the main character goes on vacation with his family, and they go to this place that he was nostalgic for as a kid, and it was called Plummersville. And it turns out that Plummersville is not as nice as a vacation spot as it seems. In the beginning of the movie, you kind of feel like, well, everything is kind of Hutch's, played by Bob Odenkirk. It's his fault because he goes to this arcade with his family, and there's this kid who's bullying his son, and because his son, you know, is the boy of a man who's living as like his day job, he pretends to be just some everyday guy, accountant, marketing guy, whatever, fill in the blank for whatever most of our boring jobs are. And of course, at night, he's an assassin. So, you know, and I think that I haven't seen the first film in forever. The only thing I remember was the bus sequence, and then Christopher Lloyd, and I think he had like a minigun or something like that. Anyways, when this encounter happens between the son and the bully, you know, the son fights back because he's learned from his father, who looks like an everyday guy but actually knows how to kick ass. You know, he beats the guy up. They kick him out of the arcade, and then right as they're kicking them out of the arcade, the owner of the arcade has to do the dick move of hitting his daughter in the back of the head, you know, with his hand. And of course that causes Hutch to, well, at first he leaves the arcade, he's like, all right, I won't let it get to me. And then he goes back inside, and as he's going back inside, his wife played like Connie Nielsen, is saying, don't do it though, Hutch, don't do it. He goes in, beats the shit out of the owner, and then basically he finds out from that physical altercation that he actually just pissed off a criminal underworld that is controlled by an antagonist played by Sharon Stone, who just, she's very forgettable in the movie. Like, I didn't even know it was Sharon Stone until I looked up the credits. Although I'm too dumb, I probably could have seen her name in giant print on the screen after the movie. But yeah, it was Sharon Stone. I'm like, oh, wow, okay. That was a waste of a good actor, because she really is not memorable at all in this film. You know, she's just a villain of the week. And that was sort of the overall problem with this movie, is that it just felt like a rushed, boring script mixed with humor that didn't work. The audience I saw it with, most test audiences I see movies with, they're not test audiences, but just like press audiences, I don't really trust their reactions as what the general reaction for a movie is going to be, because they tend to react like a sitcom laugh track. And this was one of the rare times I went and the audience reacted usually the way I do, or how most audiences would. They barely laughed at any of the jokes and barely reacted at any of the kills. Like, I think this was rushed, because how do you screw up the action to a movie that had such awesome, memorable sequences? Or it might have been just a bus sequence, to be honest. I mean, I saw that clip on YouTube, and then I saw the movie. And I'll be honest, I just remember that sequence and Christopher Lloyd with the minigun, like I said before. But like, how do you take, you know, something that was so well developed and then make it something so boring? Like this could be any action movie, any. And it would have no discernible difference. Like the difference between Nobody compared to The Accountant, which is like the same concept, you know, compared to John Wick, is that you actually buy that, you know, Bob Odenkirk is this regular bodied dad who, you know, you would never expect to be, you know, this you know, whatever you want to call it, another word for an assassin, like this fists for hire, you know, although he like kills people too. Like you would never expect that. And then when you actually see him get into that bus sequence fight, like he actually looks like he got hurt. Like he gets stabbed, you know, he's not just like, oh, I got stabbed, and then he just keeps going. Like he holds the wound while it's bleeding, and he's limping, and he really looks like he's in pain. And it's like, oh, wow, this really is like an average day guy getting into a fight. And yeah, Hutch gets in pain in this movie, but it's just not as visceral as it was with this film. And it's just such a generic plot. Oh, they go on vacation, and of course the vacation spot that they choose, it doesn't turn out to be as great as it seems, you know, whether it's the family showing up to Wally World and no one's there, or it's Beverly Hills Cop 3 where the bad guy like takes over the amusement. I don't remember. I just remember they're like, oh, put it in an amusement park. That ups the scale, which honestly, the action feels like it's gone down a scale, although it hasn't. This is like the fucking Devil May Cry 2 of sequels. Like, if they make a third film and it's way better, we're going to totally forget about Nobody 2. Nobody will remember Nobody 2. That was my tagline when I really didn't know how to write a better, you know, more clever one in my review. But you can check out my full written review at ypareviews.com. I'll have the link to it in this video. But yeah, I figured talk a little more about Nobody 2 since I didn't talk about it before it came out. Okay, thanks.